Andrew Kustodowicz. Kustodowicz, sorry about that, is a grad worker and PhD candidate in history at KU. He's also president of the Graduate Teaching Assistant Coalition, GTAC. Can you speak briefly on the jobs that your members and your union does and your structure?
So GTAC is affiliated with American Federation of Teachers, so we're under AFT Kansas and also AFT National. GTAC represents about 900 graduate teaching assistants at the University of Kansas. We do a variety of different jobs. We are instructors of record, meaning we do all of the teaching for some classes, but it can go all the way to just being a grader or more of kind of an assistant. We just ratified a new contract this week, actually, for higher pay. Yeah. And that's mostly what we're organizing around, is better pay and a living wage for the workers who make around like $43 million in tuition revenue at a third of the cost for KU. But yeah.
We are in what can only be described as a labor wave in Lawrence. Why? Yeah, right? Why do you think we're seeing such a new and renewed interest in unions in our community? And then also, what problems and prospects are we facing with the labor wave?
So likewise with higher ed, right, we are seeing this moment of like national organizing in higher ed with graduate workers. You know, in the audience we have someone who organized over at Georgetown, the first union, and got their contract. I'm thinking about the Columbia graduate worker strike, you know. So there's also this movement here, and I think I'm really glad that the graduate, quote unquote graduate student in the room, didn't have to say capitalism, because like it's just such an easy thing. Yeah, thank you so much, Megan. But really, you know, we're seeing the university transform even more into just a capitalist business entity, you know, like with KU. How many of you are KU football fans? Round of applause. KU football? Yeah. So there's tons of money going into there, but no money going into the other side of the university, right? So we have a business, KU, treating their employees really shittily, right? Like I mentioned in the little intro, GTAs make $43 million in tuition revenue, yet we're paid $18,860, I think is the new number. And it's, for us, it's really a kind of a cultural battle in a way. You know, a lot of people don't think that GTAs are actual workers. You know, it's really sad to see when the Lawrence Journal World or someone publishes an article, you see in the comments, oh, well, they're just graduate students, they want more money. Well, we're workers, you know, and so having to fight that public perception has been really difficult, as well as there's a lot of legal challenges that keep graduate workers kind of exploited, like health insurance. You know, my check comes from the state of Kansas, but I can't get employee state health insurance because the law says anyone enrolled in a PhD student cannot be counted as a state employee. So it's stuff like that that really is a challenge to organizing graduate labor at the university.
Thanks, Andrew. What are some ways that your union group has fought for better, respectful conditions for transgender workers? Go for it.
Yeah. So one of the big things that KU wanted to do in this round of negotiations was take out a lot of the protective language in our contract, like the anti-discrimination language. They said they didn't need it because it was under the state, but we fought pretty hard to get language back in that goes beyond what like the federal language has. So that's one thing that we've tried to do.
Hi, I'm Santiago Vasquez. I just wanted to ask about the relationship between organized labor and immigration, and specifically undocumented immigration. I know that there's like a long history there, and I know that, you know, there's been a lot of tension between the unions and undocumented workers. What kinds of, you know, I guess, is there any insight that y'all have on that relationship, and what do you think we can do to remedy that or to resolve the situation?
So at KU, we actually have to deal with this a lot because a lot of GTAs and graduate workers in general are international workers. And it's kind of an opposite problem. You know, there's no path to legal work for some undocumented workers, but international workers at KU are forced into a system that taxes them and punishes them for generating money for KU, right? So if you're an international worker, you have to come here on a specific visa. You can't have another job, so that means you're tied to working at KU year-round for not enough money. You also have to pay separate fees, exorbitant student fees that KU continues to increase the percentages of. And this was actually one of the reasons that we decided to take a 2-year deal over a 3-year deal, is so that we can do more for international workers on the next round of contracts. Yeah.
How has the relationship with your boss changed since you've organized, or how has the relationship with your boss changed since you've been being more active?
Relationship's not been great with KU. You know, it's been, 2 years of a contract negotiation. They paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to a union-busting lawyer who wasted the time of our negotiations team time and time again. Got us wrong documents, didn't respond to us in time, put forward factually incorrect narratives about the negotiations process in front of the Kansas Board of Regents. So it's really not been great, just patterns of disrespect throughout. So I wish we could be at a place where it wasn't like that, but but it is fuel, right? Like part of it is we're looking for a culture of respect, so we have to like fight really hard against the disrespect.